Start recording, and so I always go back to the dashboard. Like this, and because this is white, so it gives good light. And what we're doing, so I remember like I was making this website. Yeah, I think it's Nautos Clothing. So at this point, I hope everyone's familiar with the editor. I know there are some, the name is Glitch, and also there are some glitches. But also, like, I noticed that, some of you might have some issues with the editor, or some, questions. Just if you feel stuck, just write to me. And this SRC is where we're editing, and I want to say preview in the this one maybe. So I didn't really edit this after I was giving the lecture. I think that was like a second week or something. Since then I didn't edit it, and that was like really like a quick going through of how you can edit text and so on. So it's like really rudimentary. And this time, like when I was doing this, I didn't really think about the content. So first, super important thing, and also like based on the things that you made, maybe I comment like a few things that you had some questions, or you might didn't notice. So if you go to this seo.json file inside SRC, you see it, right? And I will make it a little bit bigger, but not too big. So this looks a little bit cryptic, but you have this field called title, and that's where you can edit the title of the blog, which appears if you preview the new window, like this thing here, the title bar that you see. This was like hello 11t or something by default. So if you wanted to change it, just change it here. Also, it's nice practice to change this one as well, the description. I didn't edit it. This is a blog about Nautos Clothing. This is kind of like, as it says, like SEO. It's a search engine optimization. So once we become big, we might show up on the Google search. I think Google is actually crawling it. But if you search something on Google, it says the title, but also some kind of description, and that's where this is coming from. So, and also like if you get nerdy, you can also edit this image, which is the, like if you share it on, like for example, if you send this to someone on Instagram, then it makes like a little thumbnail on like with the image, and that's where this is taken from. So this is like a little thing that you can customize it and make it better. And okay, so I thought there's something else, but maybe it's okay. The other thing is that if you want to change the name of, the URL, so I made it to Nautos Clothing, and the way you can do it is going to settings, because by default it's like random words, which is also kind of interesting. But if you want to make it personalized yourself, then you go to settings on the sidebar, and then go to edit project details. Then this is the one, and I think you can only use alphabet like A to Z, numbers probably, and dash like hyphen. But for example, you cannot use like symbols like this. Then probably it will say you cannot. Yeah, letters, numbers, and hyphens. So something like this. And of course, if it's something that is taken by someone else already, then it will say domain is already in use. And probably I have Nauto by myself, I think. Is it? No, it's not glitch.com, glitch.me. It doesn't show anything, but I'm sure I took it. And if you have like a name that is not common, maybe you can have a chance to get your domain. So that's something nice. Okay, but today I think the way I'm gonna do it is, instead of editing this here, because I want to kind of keep it as kind of like a milestone, or I don't know how to say it, like a checkpoint where I did this. So instead of like directly editing this, I will go to this remix button at the top. Like actually like how we started, because we were remixing the template and made it into your own version. And now you can remix your version so that you can kind of like branch out from what you did last time. So this looks exactly the same. I think it will load and it will show the same thing, but now I have different name for the website. It's called Shade Butternut Nail. I don't know. I will probably edit it later. But this, if I start editing this one, it will not. So I say like, I don't know, this is a new blog. So it says this is a new blog on this one. If I say preview new window, it's an Nautilus clothing blog, but it's this new blog. But then if you go to Nautilus clothing, the old one I made, it's not affected anymore because that's a different remix. So this different one, now I have a new one. And maybe it's good to flag something so that you know it's a new one and you don't get confused by which one and which. Just make something obvious change so that you know this is the new one that I want to work on. And that's how I will like, so for my second assignment, I will do it this way. By the way, I forgot to charge my computer. I'm obsessed with charging all the time, so I'll just connect it. So, and then I'm a little bit, how to say, optimistic? No, what's the word? Oh, I had this job this morning as an interpreter between English and Japanese, so my English is not great today. But I'm kind of aiming for something a lot, something, the bar is high. So I want to make something 2 different blogs to demonstrate where I would go from this one. I mean, this one, like, as we looked at, like, it's very, like, you know, I was just commenting and writing at the same time. It's really rough, but also captures, you know, like what I'm interested in. Like, I like this sweater, and then I have another sweater and so on, and I have this jacket. That's kind of like just coming from my interest, but then like I started to, you know, bring up this idea of like, you know, who's reading this website? Because if it's like a fan website, well, even if it's like a fan website of, I don't know, like series or, I don't know, comics or whatever, you already kind of like narrow down the audience because that's not for everyone, but that's like, a, you know, something for the fan base. Or maybe you can be like really specific about like which character you're supporting and so on, and you can really like start to focus on like a certain interest, right? And it's the same with like portfolio. So I don't know what portfolio we're making from here, but since you said you want to make portfolio, I mean, it's because you said, but also I think for everyone's career, like what we're doing here, I think it's good to have a portfolio anyways. So let's see what where I can go from here. And maybe for the first assignment, well, first task for myself today, I will make this into, I don't know, I would say like something I'm familiar with, like artist portfolio. So I want to do something like so that I can sell this to I don't know, like curators or like festival programmers, someone who's gonna look at artist's portfolio, and then they might, ask me to present something, for example. And in that sense, like I think, and this blog can be something that I can talk a bit more about, I don't know, identity, maybe. I can just like start to like list what can be interesting, right? So if you have, if you start with ideas, like you can, or I can, maybe use some more like fancy tools to start brainstorming. So, okay, so let's say, I mean, you can use whatever tool you like, right? It can be like Miro or whatever board, Milanote. This is freeform on Mac. And then I just like start to think, okay, so who is going to look at it? Maybe like curators, festival programmers. Then I might like start to be interested, because now I really want to narrow down, because if you think about, maybe this is not so relevant, I don't know if this is interesting, but maybe, yeah, I will try, because this is something I have experience about, so maybe I can just go a bit deeper about this. So when we say curators, they will look, pick artists and then, put into an exhibition, basically. But they all have like different focus. And also like same with the festival, like art festival, I present at like media art festivals and so on, but they also have like different focus. So it can be like, is it like sound-based work? Or is it like cinema? Is it photography? Or like it's more like a media, art? Is it more like, I don't know, political or critical? I don't know. This name doesn't exist, but something like this. Or I can say that it's like for kids. That's also possible. I've presented there. And you can like start like, also like this is, I'm talking from my experience, but then you can also do research, right? So that's something like we can start. And then also we can start to see like, if I want to sell to like these festivals, probably like, if you go to like website of the festival, I don't know, maybe like something I presented before. Oh, okay, they don't exist. Something I presented before, let's say Node Forum, this website is up. Then you can, or like if you want to, if you have like something in mind, like if you want to sell this to, I don't know, like the cinema festival, or this, I don't know, something more for the activists, whatever, like probably you have some names, and then you can go to like list of people who presented there. Like if it's a festival, then probably you can find some people who has presented in the past festival. Yeah, there's people, I mean, oops, all the websites are broken these days. Okay, that was not successful. But then my idea was that if you start to like look for, do a bit more research, or like what, off the top of my head, I think about, like if you're selling cake, then you can probably find like people who's doing this already, and then you can start to do like research on how people are, yeah, like for example, if you look at this website and this festival that maybe I want to present in the next in the next edition, then I can start to like really find these names here, and then I can do some research. This is not exactly the person, I think. I think it's, yeah, this one. And basically, like, the easiest thing I could do is just to copy some styles. I mean, I do this all the time because this kind of like sets the tone of like your website, like who you are selling this to. So I mean, this is just like one person from the from the festival, but then if you start to, I don't know, look for other people, or if you just, I don't know, you can search for Instagram or whatever. Like probably it's easy to navigate. Like I don't know, if you want to sell clothes, probably you can find some people through Instagram, and then sometimes they have portfolio websites, and then you can start to see like these references. I can just keep doing this, and okay, so it seems like, at least like in this, if I want to sell my portfolio or my work to this festival, it seems like they have some kind of like very clean aesthetic. I mean, there are like 3 different people, right? But then they all have this kind of like similar aesthetics already, just looking at 3 people, which is super interesting. Yeah, this is like also black text on white, so maybe that's something I want. I didn't really, okay, so I'm talking about this now. And then I started doing some research, and then like maybe I want like black on white, clean aesthetics. And it seems like it's not always, but they don't have like a long text on the top page, but it seems they have like a list of images and this about this studio or artist is like moved to about, and then have this wall of text, and then they have this nice picture with, I don't know, whatever object that they're holding. Probably it's the same with everyone. Yeah, like she has like bigger text in the about page, but not on the top page. And yeah, before I said about like studying the users or like the audience, people who's watching, going to reading this website, but you could actually flip this practice so that you just learn from practitioners in the same field how they're doing, and probably you already do it unconsciously, but you can also like start to find this pattern from these people. Actually, this is like, if the top page is like this, so that it's archived. But anyways, so there's this website. It's really clean, and then about has more text. And then this one is like, okay, it's newer version. It has like more like modern design, but it's quite like image based. And if you want to know about it, probably you need to go to about, and it has a few paragraphs. So okay, that's kind of the structure. So you can learn, like, it's not just about like this kind of graphics aspect of it, but you can also see that, top page, like one or less paragraph, and then what was that? Yeah, about page has wall of text, for example. I mean, this is like, you don't have to like, show these notes to me, but I think it helps to just, find these patterns while you're browsing through let's say your competitors, right? So because maybe you're not competing at the moment, or maybe you are doing it already, but what you want to do is like to be in the same, field as these people, for example. I mean, you might become something different, but probably like you want to have some reference, and then if I want to like sell my work to, I don't know, this festival, for example, and actually this festival website itself is black and white kind of, well, black on white kind of aesthetics. So it's kind of like everything kind of makes sense now to me that, okay, so probably like this aesthetics, clean, black and white, it's something I can start with. And okay, so that's something. And then, as I said, on the top page, it's more like image-based. Yeah, just like one, like it's more like a tagline. So I'm this and that doing this. And then we have like images. Well, this is kind of like more like interactive-ish. It's a bit more advanced, but then, for example, this one is like simpler one that has like images. Okay. It's quite old though. They didn't update these days. That's okay. So I can go for that. And so this is definitely, I mean, it's okay. It's all black on white. So it's kind of like okay-ish. Actually, I just have one sentence. No, actually a few sentences, like less than like one paragraph. That's also okay, but I think what's missing here is that I need to have like kind of list of projects that I want to sell. And it doesn't really work with this context because I'm talking about the sweater. How do I do this? Now, I'm just improvising, right? So save image as. Save image as. So if I want to have something like this, then where's the editor? So this is the editor. And probably it seems like all the websites I've been seeing, they don't have like a title because it's about themselves. So I'm not even saying like Naoto's blog, but I would probably say Naoto Hieda, that's my name. And of course, I know that the text is too big, but I'm not going to go too much into CSS. I'll just like bear with this. And like this looks a bit too private. It's probably like something that, I don't know, like if it's like a travel blog and you want to have like a photo with your friends and so on, that's also okay. But then if it's a portfolio and if it's something that, you know, like you want to like coordinate or organize parties, events, maybe it's nice to have like a photo with like a group of people or friends. But this, to me, it seems like a bit too like private or personal. So I would just delete it. And I think this tagline kind of works still. Like, I want to manifest my identity through clothing. I collect clothes, and each piece of clothes has a certain meaning, which is connected to my memories. But maybe I think in this blog, part is a bit too redundant, so I'll just delete it. I'm just following, you know, how others are doing, right? So it's just like, and then I don't know if you can find it in their websites, but it's kind of like, you know, they're saying this in a third person's perspective. So like, it's not like I am an artist working with this, but Amelia is an artist working with. So I can also copy that style. Yeah, I mean, more or less people do that. It sounds actually professional, so I'll try that. But not always, right? So it really depends. It's something that you want to talk about, I don't know, something if you want to like make it a bit more like warm, empathic, maybe you want to keep the first person, like I am. But in this context, it seems like if I want to sell myself as an artist to this festival, for example, I would say Naoto, even like full name, is an artist manifesting, my pronouns are they, them, their identity through clothing. They collect clothes, and each piece of clothes has a certain meaning, which is connected to their memories. So it's actually just like, a few things I changed, but it's already looking a bit more professional. I'm not sure actually. I'm actually not sure. You can also, consult ChatGPT, for example. I'm actually curious what would it say. So the original text is this one, right? I want to manifest my identity, blah, blah. So, hello, yeah. Can you make this paragraph sounding more professional? I don't even care about the typos. For my artist portfolio. No, I forgot to put the paragraph. Yes. Okay. Oh, it's actually still like first person. My work seeks to express my identity through clothing, where each piece represents a deeper connection to my personal history. Yeah, I don't know if I like it, but if you like it, maybe you can use it. If you don't like it, you don't have to use it. I'll stick to what I was writing. But so what I wanted to highlight here is that I'm just explaining, the rationale, like why I'm doing this design, not just like because it looks cool, but like, well, it looks cool, but with regard to your references, right? And if it's something like a website where they use a lot of emojis, for example, that's something, the reference that you want to incorporate into your practice, or is it like your competitor, then you might want to use more emojis, for example. Something I'm missing on this page is, compared to the other ones, is that I need more images. So I will add some images directly in here. However, I think I was just like, while I was talking, I was downloading the images, and because I had this idea that especially like these ones that I was checking, the websites have like quite like abstract, maybe because they do some kind of like abstract, conceptual, media, whatever art. It feels like I want to talk a little bit more on the, to make it a bit more abstract. So what if, for example, I just do something like this, so that, I don't know how to do this properly. Whatever. And do the same for this. So maybe I'm more interested in like this. This is actually what I'm wearing now. This is like, why am I doing this? I can't really explain, but I just feel right with the content I have. That's not very helpful for you, but I just feel it's right. So I will, always just experiment. You have like, come up with like ideas, just try it out and see if that works. So I'm gonna paste them in the page. That was a index page, right? I think I'm not that interested in this. And I can even say their works, shiny blue texture. The second one is this one. index, I don't know, knitted blue, white, yellow pattern or something. And this one, the Estonian color. Blue, navy, white stripes. Okay, so obviously I have to fix the size because how it looks like on the website is like this now. That's not super cool. What I could have done is to adjust it in the preview app so they have like same size. That's like a DIY way of fixing it, I think. Of course, there's a way to fix it with the CSS, but I'm not going to go too much into detail. Like I'm more like sketching right now, so this is okay. Is it? I don't know, actually. But then like if I start to edit this, you will be curious how I'm doing this, so I'm not going to do it now. Okay, but I think it's getting there. That, and also like I want to add link to the post. So since I have the post for this geometric sweater already, I just copy this link. And what you could do is, it was this one. So the way you add link is like this, right? Yeah. So actually, I think it works. I'm not sure if this works. So I put this image inside the link, so it's a kind of like nested. Now it's super hard to read, but it actually works now. That if you click on this, it goes to the page. So that's kind of cool. Oh, yeah. And you can do the same with these ones. I mean, I don't have the post for this shiny jacket, but since I have the sweater with stripe pattern, copy link, or you can just open this and then you can copy this link. The pro tip is that only copy this part. That would work better because then if you have this whole HTTPS, the blah, 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 glitch.me, if you change the name of the domain, then it will break. So it's actually better to keep it like this from /posts/ something. I will also share this information on the material, or how to say, the website. Yeah, the content, the website I'm compiling, so don't worry. So now I have these images on the top page, and I can also jump to these ones from here. So that looks a bit, I mean, of course, this whole content has to be edited, but at least this top page looks like something I probably like, before maybe I had like 10% of getting through the festival, but maybe now I have 30%. I mean, I don't know. But at least like the look of the web page looks a bit cleaner, in a sense that these festival people would be interested in looking into it. Because those are people who look for thousands of portfolios. So they know from a glance, okay, this person is probably like interesting for me to look, or it's not. They can kind of sense it, I think. So at least like this sets the tone that what I'm doing is like related to you. I mean, the you is the one I mentioned here, like let's say curators or festival programmers in Media Art Festival. So that's one way of working on this. I want to cross them, but I can't find. Okay. Now, I think this was a bit cheating because I know this field more or less. I'm working with these artsy people, so I kind of had this idea like where to go with this. But then I'm gonna try to make another website. So the good thing is that I was editing this whole thing, but then if I feel like, oh, I'm not really happy with what I did, so I could also go back to the original one, which is gonna say, yeah, now this clothing blog, this unprofessional version. I can go back to this and then I say, okay, I'll remix again because I want to kind of like start over from here and try to find different direction, what's interesting to talk to my customers, for example. And then now I'm going to just try to pick another example, which is not artist portfolio. But then the question remains the same. Who's going to look at it? So what would be my client? I didn't really think about this. Let's say I can do, because there was like some topics about travel, and I think I'm interested in traveling. And also the sweaters I show here, not the shiny jacket. I bought them in Japan, so maybe like I want to have a website. It's not like a travel agency, but how to say it, like this, like coordinating travels. Is there a word for this? Travel coordinator, maybe. So I could try that. So that's going to be like a very different one, right? So now it's not like artsy people, but I'm talking about travel coordinator. So which means that clients are who wants to travel, and in my case to Japan. And obviously this is like not someone really poor because they have money to travel to Japan. And I'm not like at this moment, I'm not organizing, buying the ticket for them and so on. Let's say like I can kind of plan some fun activities for you in Japan. And especially like, okay, so that's something important that it's for people, I don't know, let's say like hipster people wants to enjoy secondhand clothes shopping. I don't know if it's a bit wordy. But then I can start to be a bit more like to narrow down who's going to look at this. Probably there are like young people, but who has money, so it's like not young people, but also like not super old people. I would say like, maybe in their 30s, 40s. And they want to have to do a travel that is not really like cliche. I mean, they might do some cliche things, but also they want to like see like vintage shops and so on. And then I have to show my skill that I know these places in Japan, and I can tell you my secret. And I don't know, maybe like because we're talking about business, I probably want to charge them. But that's like we're not gonna make like a platform where people can pay. So probably like I want them to just write to me so we can arrange it privately. So something like this. And then, but that's already like some kind of like clear idea I have. And actually, because I said travel coordinator, probably this is something that's more interesting to search on Instagram or something, but I don't have Instagram. So, top travel coordinators. So, just like how I did in the first one, I want to find some references where I can find like what kind of portfolio they have. I mean, ultimately, I feel like this kind of job, like probably you want to be more active on Instagram or something, that you post like nice photos. Like if I'm talking about this as a job, maybe like I post all these like photos I took in Japan, like this clothes I found in Japan, and so on. Or maybe another way of searching, this travel coordinator keyword didn't work, but then vintage shopping in Japan, like something more specific that I'm interested in. And maybe I can find some, I mean, this is Vogue. Yeah, it's just an article. Maybe I can search on Google. Is it better? Okay, it seems like more like articles I find instead of someone's blog. So that's a little bit more challenging because now I can't really find the reference, or maybe this is like niche thing that I'm inventing, so I can't really find it. But probably you might have the same problem, that you can't immediately spot what kind of what's the reference, for example. This looks okay. This is like it's not like a travel coordinator, but I guess they're like importing, or no, actually they're in Japanese price. So it's a shop in Japan, but then also they are targeting foreigners because it's written in English. So that's something, this could be one reference. And again, this has like somewhat like clean aesthetics, but you have a lot more pictures. I mean, basically because they want to sell them, right? So it's more like a shop. But you know, I can keep that in mind. And this research like always takes time, so you don't want to skip this process. And always take time for research. Maybe what you can do is, if you're stuck with other projects, you just start, searching for things, what would be interesting for you to get some inspiration. But I'm not really successful with this. There's Etsy, Japanese vintage clothing. Looks super cliche, actually. But what if like I go to like individual stores? Do they have a website? Probably. Or maybe not. I don't know how to find it. Is it contact? No. No, I can't find it. I mean, it's also like a detective kind of job that you really have to take time. Or maybe it's more like magazines, like online. Blog, websites, magazines that you have to look into. Okay. There are shops. Okay. And it doesn't even have a website? That's weird. Okay. It didn't really work. Yeah, this is a shop again. Okay, so I'm a little bit stuck. Oh, vintage shop guide. Okay, this is not so bad. It's a little bit simple, I would say, but okay, so this might be interesting. What I can immediately see in this website is that there's a lot of information, and I think that kind of like questions myself that this approach, transforming this into travel coordinator for vintage clothing, probably needs a lot more work because I only have like 2 posts, and it's true because if you look for vintage clothing, you really want to see that this person has this knowledge or experience going to this shop, that shop, and found this and that. So because it's not like you show 1 or 2 pieces of clothes and then, oh, that looks good for me, but you probably, by looking at their website, you probably want to like go through a lot of contents, and then you find, actually, well, this is not really interesting to me, but I don't know. For example, I don't know, this is something interesting to me, but it's not always something that interests you. And actually, this website has like not just a lot of contents, a lot of posts, but in one post they have like a lot of recommendations. And this is actually super nice example because not just photo and like short text, but they also come with like link and the Google Maps embedded. And this is like, I think I found will be super useful for some of you to add to, I don't know if it's for portfolio or more in the first assignment, but for example, if it's like a travel, then you can also, it's about travel, then you can also add this map, right? So the way it works is, I'm just like jumping to another topic, but let's say I want to add Tallinn University. You can do share, and there's this button, embed a map, and you copy this, and I would say in the post, or I don't know, maybe in the about page. And I am based in, well, I am based at Tallinn University. Then if I do this, wait, this way. So I did it in about page, and yeah, this shows up, and it's not just image, it's interactive. So yeah, that could be super useful. And if it's like if I'm saying like travel coordinator, I might not want to disclose all the information about this specific shop in Tokyo. Then you might just want to add a map of Tokyo itself. You can also do that. Or, I don't know, what's the Kichijoji, or I know this hip area and I want to talk about this hip area, so I just say this like name of the area and then copy link, no, this one, embed, and I can say that, I don't know, well, I didn't buy this in Kichijoji, but also in Japan, you can find it in this area. And if you do it, posts, internet is slow today, or is it loading? It's just loading. Well, if it loads, I think we will see the post that has the embedded. So this is the same one, but then you can find it in this area, and then you can, give a bit more information about where it is, but also you don't have to say which store. I mean, you can say that too. If it's a travel blog, you want to talk about, I went to this place, this restaurant, this store, you can just tag them, you can add them in the map. Or you can, of course, link to their Instagram and so on. But yeah, I think the beauty of like working with this HTML kind of based, like very basic website is that you can add anything. Like as I said, we can do the same with YouTube videos. So you can add YouTube videos inside the page, where if you have, I don't know, some kind of vlog or something that you want to showcase, or if you made a short film that you want to showcase, of course you can embed them here, and then everything is in one package. You don't have to have this like link tree or some kind of page where you have to like direct them to jump to this and that. You can have everything bundled here. So that's that. But I need to do something about this clothing blog, because I said the client is those who want to travel to Japan and enjoy vintage shopping. Well, this is the question, right? So I guess I have to be a bit more knowledgeable about fashion. I mean, like a kind of trends, let's say. Like, is it like, yeah, like what style? Like this Gothic stuff that's also like a big thing in very niche part of Japan, for example, and there's like dedicated area where they sell all these, things. Or is it something different? I mean, obviously, but I don't know what is the style I wear. Oh, actually, that's also interesting. There's also like this, how do you say, what is it called? Like people sell their used stuff like directly to someone. I just found this website from Japan that people use, where they sell things like that. Can that be inspiration? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. But actually it's kind of like useful, this kind of like text from them, how they're describing. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not so sure. Okay. So maybe like I'm kind of like, I feel I'm not so knowledgeable in this area. So I would try to find some other topic. Something I can do is maybe similar to travel coordinator, but I can do interpreter. I was actually doing this morning. So if I'm doing an interpreter job and having my portfolio, what would I do? Then I guess what I need to do is first most likely it's for people in Japan who don't speak Japanese. Or it could be people in, maybe let's say Estonia, because now I'm in Estonia. Or for Japanese people in Estonia who needs to, I don't know, talk to people in English. I don't know, it's too wordy. Or interpreter or like a translator job. Maybe that's a bit easier because it's easier to do it like online, because translator is like writing, right? Reading and writing. Not interpreter is the one who talks. Translator is the those who writes. So in that case, and also I think if we say translator, you have to specify, is it from English to Japanese, Japanese to English. I can do both, I would say. And also, is it like casual language, or like something add-on, or is it something that specific topic, like I can talk, for example, I studied engineering, so I know some engineering words or terms. I know I'm okay with art terms, I don't know, jargons, whatever. But for example, I'm not like knowledgeable in history, so probably that's not kind of translated job I would do. But then I can start like narrow down what kind of people, what kind of topic I want to address. And then, I mean, in this case, actually, it's quite easy to me, because then I just have to have some work I've done to showcase in here. I'm not so sure about the design or the layout, or how I would frame this website, but wait, yeah, it's this one. So index page, Nautos, but I think it's a professional thing, so I would probably say Naoto Hieda again. I kind of like this photo, so Naoto Hieda is a freelance interpreter. No, I said translator. Oh, actually translator. I can do both. An interpreter who is speak English and Japanese. Their topic, the topics they are knowledgeable in are, I don't know, engineering, arts. What did I say? That's it. I mean, I can be also be a bit more specific, maybe performing arts, performing and media arts, I don't know. And of course, if I'm claiming this, these sweater things don't work, so I need to reframe this quite a lot. And I guess this is kind of like a typical portfolio where you can showcase your past work, or if you haven't done much, you can also make up, because the point of making portfolio now is not really about like what you've done in the past, but how you can build up. So I mean, if it's like completely fake, it might be a bit problematic, but like translation of Haruki Murakami's book, maybe that's a bit too bold to say. Well, maybe like for class work, you know. And I can say, I don't know, last year I translated a book by Haruki Murakami as a coursework. From the original Japanese version to English. Well, I don't think I can do that. You can find the snippet here, and then also like what is I'm just gonna fake it with Lorem Ipsum. How can I find? Okay, Wikipedia. Because I'm saying I'm not talking about the content itself, so I'm just putting this fake text here. But what could be also like a little tip that I wanted to mention is that block quote. So if you're working on this kind of markdown format, you can add this thingy at the top, just like how you do it in the email. Like when you reply to someone, you might want to add this to refer to someone wrote, and then it makes a nice indentation here, so you can see that this is not part of the original text, but it's like something added, or how to say, something like to give a bit of like highlight that is this is like popping out from the text, because I'm adding this snippet not because this is something I want to talk about, but it's more about this is something like a reference that I want to address. And you can even make it italic by adding this asterisk at the beginning and at bottom, so it makes like this. So this is something I can do. And for the other page, I don't know, I can also make a real project that I've done as a translator. I hope it's still there. So, for example, this page, I made the Japanese translation. Oh, yeah, it says it's me. So I can say that ML4A digital book translation of, I can just say this. So yeah, I translated part of ML4A digital book. And I don't know what year, I think it was in 2018, I translated the part of the ML4A digital book. You can find the text online. And I think it's important that to say this was from English to Japanese. You can find the text online, and this is not the page. Yeah, it's here. Yeah, if you just paste a link, it doesn't work. So the way to make it as a link is to wrap it with this greater and smaller, greater than and smaller than. Then it becomes like a link. So it's a nice way to showcase my work. I mean, if it's just a showcase, like you can just have like this just one sentence and then link, but also if I want to expand a little bit on this, I can talk about what was the struggle and so on, but then coming back to this idea, like who's going to look at this translator job, my portfolio as a translator? I think they want to ask me, like, if I could do their gig or whatever. So if we think about it, they don't really care about the hardship I had. That would be nice to share with someone else, because if someone's like desperate to have something translated, then what would be more important is, okay, so I will make a comment like this, just as a comment. So what does the client want? So it's not really like a hardship I had. This is more like kind of storytelling part, but this is actually not so much about storytelling. What would probably make sense is like, for example, I'll just make a bullet point list, but like how much time did it take? I don't know, it was like 10 hours or something, for example. I don't remember. Price, maybe, I mean, this is also a tricky thing, like you can add something like price for this product, but also like this is kind of like a more like artisanal job, I would say, that the price can change really depending on the topic. So I will probably like just if I would say something about the price, I will just say like, please contact me for the price. I would say something like this. Also, like it's not a good practice to set low price. Always charge more. Yeah, start with a higher price. That's what I would say. Like keywords, like for example, this was like about neural net. So I talked about neural net, but it's also for artists. So I don't know, art, programming. There's also mathematics was involved. So you can add, like these keywords that might be like something that the client also probably really helps for the clients, like because if they also have this project that is about neural net and it's really like technical text that they don't even understand but they need to translate, they can consult this. If they come with like something about patent, probably that's not what they're interested in. So this kind of thing that helps. What else? I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. So just, like kind of not just about like telling the story, which is also exciting. I mean, of course, like your client, let's say, is someone who wants to know about your story. It's something that, if that's necessary, then I would add stuff about, okay, this paragraph was really difficult because you can't have direct translation, and then blah, blah, blah. You can expand on that. That's also good. But of course, if you think the client is just want the numbers, just want the keywords, price, and so on, then probably that's something I would add. And also, this means that I would add my email address or Instagram or whatever, that they can contact me so that we can start talking about business. So that's that. I can do the same with the previous post. It was about, coursework, but of course, for the coursework, I can talk about, how long it took. I don't know. It took 2,000 hours for how many pages? I don't know. 100 pages. Like you can also like very specific with this, right? So the client can know, okay, like they can kind of get expectation of like if they bring 20 pages, probably it will take 400 hours or something. I don't know. That sounds a lot of hours, but you can list things. What did I say? Keywords. This was about a novel. I don't know. It's like a modern. I don't know what's contemporary. Something like this. I can add, and also like if it was coursework, you can maybe talk about the feedback that you had. I don't know. Yeah, like just basically practical information. Yeah. Okay. So think I will close here-ish. But yeah, I kind of like this image because it's like binding two creatures who can't speak to each other, something. I just made it up, but you can also, you can also have this like bit of like poetic thing in it, right? So it's really up to you. But it's, yeah, like maybe what I want to re-emphasize is like next week we can also like brainstorm. We can't have like, a lot of time for each person, but if you want to have this space for like so next week, like not like as a presentation, of course you have already ideas for the portfolio, please share with me, with us, but if you are also want to think about like what's the direction you want to take, we can also talk about it. So it's really, if you want to prepare for this, do it. If you don't have time, also we can talk, and then we can find a direction that would be interesting for you. I mean, what I think what's important is that, I mean, one is to finish this course, yes, but also for you to make use of this, so that it's not just you make this portfolio and then you ditch it, but you can actually build on top. I mean, you might want to do it from scratch with, I don't know, WordPress or Wix or whatever other tools, but I think the idea is there that what kind of like direction, who's the client, or is it about the client or not? Is it about storytelling? Like what, not just about content, but what direction, who do you want to talk to? And I think that's something, it's also like open-ended, so it's not really that you have to fix it now. You might, let's say, start your business, and then you might adjust it as you grow your business, or let's say career. And I think it's totally normal. Like no one is like, you know it now and you just like go for it. I mean, you have to have some kind of direction, and then from there, also your interest changes, and you will not stick to one thing. So we'll have like 10-15 minute break, and then for those who haven't presented, let's do that. And if you want to work on the computer here, we can continue. And if you have questions, we can do that after the presentations. So I'll close it.